Hello, everybody, and welcome to my live. This is going to be a Copic coloring of our new stamp set, which is our You Are Such a Darling based on Peter Pan. So I am super excited that I get to color this for you guys tonight. If you are here, let me know. If you can see me, I'm in the bottom right-hand corner, right over here. Hi. And I have this weird little arm in here in the way. So that is going to be in here the whole time. So sorry about that, but you're not here to see my face, you're here to see the coloring. So first off, I'm going to show you what's in the stamp set. So we have our stamp set, which of course includes Peter Pan, we have Tinkerbell, we have Wendy, we have Michael and Nana, we have some pixie dust, and we have John. And our sentiments are a sprinkle of magic just for you. Think happy thoughts. Hats off to you, old chap. You are such a darling. Treasure every adventure. Just a thimbleful of love and never grow up, of course. And again, if you are here watching, let me know in the comments. So that is the stamp set. And of course, we do have outline dies with them. Now, I may design the packaging, but I got this early, so I got mine without the packaging. So you'll just have to either look that up on the website or maybe you already have it. So the builder die was the a darling bedroom builder die, which are these pieces right here. I did release a video on it earlier today, and I can show that to you. And we have our 2-layer London Skies stencil, which features some buildings, Big Ben, Peter Pan silhouette, and some stars. So super fun. So hello. Thanks for joining me, everybody. So what I'm going to show you first is I'm just going to show you some stamped images so you can see how they stamp out, which isn't too. So there is our Peter Pan and our Tinkerbell. You can see I got a little smudge. I also stamped it out for a no-line coloring, which I think I might do as a live on Instagram sometime next week. And then here's our little John with his map and his hat. So I'm going to show you an example. I also showed how to do how to use Distress Oxide inks on a dark background. So I have that video up available too. This was my take 2. I think this is the one that I did for the video. So you can see I used some embossing powder and all that fun stuff and how it would work on a darker cardstock like the dark blue. Now for my card that I used the builder die with. So what I did was I actually used the first practice stencil. So you can see this is what this looks like. So this is just Distress Oxide. And I show you in the video. It's a long one, but it kind of shows you what's going on and how to do it on dark paper. And then I just decided I really liked it with clear embossing powder over top. But here you can see this one is not clear embossed. So anyway, I took this out because here's my card and it is shown in the video of the builder die. But here is my Wendy, Just a Thimbleful of Love. So this is what your builder die looks like. So you've got the window, the side panes, your little frame. I created this into a mirror. So this is your mirror piece. It cuts out solid. So I use silver for the middle, and then I cut out 2 extras to put above and below to create like a mirror shape. And then we have our little chair, and I used gold up here and these greens, and I just wanted a very like kind of neutral palette that would fit with her and her coloring. Of course, we have this cute little bench, and I used that wood grain paper, and then I colored it with Copic, and we've got that little pillow, and then I just used glossy accents to fill in those window panes. And then at our last retreat in October, I think it was Kathy Thatcher and her row where we're putting the glossy accents in the eyes. So I thought I would try that just to see it was, and there it is. So first up, before I move on to my coloring, I'm going to show you, this is Steven's colored Peter Pan. Absolutely gorgeous. He has done an amazing job, and he has a quick little video that he has shared for everybody. It's a quick color of this, and I actually shared a quick color of Wendy, so it's not a full-length coloring. It's just a quick color. But now that's why we're moving on to tonight. So I'm going to go over and guess who we're going to color. Can anybody guess who we're going to color tonight? Does anybody know? Are there any guesses? Well, before we get there, let me tell you what I do. So I choose my image. I go through the colors. I always like them to look as much like the character as they can. So what I do is go through, and this might be weird, but I pick all my colors first. Then I kind of test them out. So here I was testing out my hair combination, testing out a combination here and here. And I write them all out, organize them, and that's just the way I like to do. But so if there is no guesses, I don't know if there is. I'm not seeing any right now. But I am going to show you who we're coloring. And we're coloring Michael and Nana because I don't know. I just thought the image was just so cute. I think it was a lot to color. It's a lot and not a lot just because of the size of the image, but it gave us 3 different things to color tonight. We get to color a little person, which is Michael. We get to color a dog, which is Nana, and this little teddy bear, which is also so adorable. So I thought that would be super, super cute. And I am going to throw the comments up on the screen here so we'll be able to see who is chatting with us tonight. So again, here I have everything written out, and then I'm going to start off with our skin tone, and I have my glasses on hand. And again, I've got all my markers nice and organized. And yeah, Annie knew which one I was coloring because I told her earlier. All right, I do have my glasses. I'm going to make sure that they're cleaned off. Yeah, I used my shirt. That's not great. All right. So for our skin tone, we're going to use our standard skin tone, which is going to be our E04, E11, E21, E00, 000, quad 0, and R20. Sometimes I don't use the quad 0. It just depends on how the coloring goes at the time and if there's a space for it. And sometimes I jump. And sometimes instead of R20, I use E93 now. But we're going to go standard. So we're starting with our E04. And I wish I could zoom this in a little bit more. I'm going to attempt to lower this a little bit more without it getting in my way of coloring. Sorry. All right. Hopefully that is a little bit better for you guys to see. And then just got to make sure I can actually color under the camera this low because when I use this, I can't zoom. So I apologize. Oh my gosh, look, here's me in the corner with my glasses. All right. Yes, everyone give us a shout out. I would love to know who's here too. Like I know Joyce is here and Julie is here. Becky's here. All right, so here we go. Coloring. We're going to start with that E04. I don't know why I'm being weird tonight. Who knows? All right, so I'm going to start with that E04 just across his hairline. And I'm going to sweep it up and then under his bang. And I think I've decided that the light will be shining. Oh, let's get back on screen, Kevin. Light's going to be shining, I don't know, top left maybe? We're going to have a little bit more shadow on the right-hand side. I'm going to add just a little bit of that color under his eyebrow on either side. He's only got a tiny bit of neck space and neck showing there, so we're not gonna color that with E04. I'm gonna use a little bit of the E04 on the bottom of his hand right there, and we're gonna put a little bit onto the bottom of his chin. So I apologize that I've only got like a few inches here that I'm coloring in, so I have to keep my hand really nice and low when I color. So E11 is our next color. So, who is everyone's favorite character from Peter Pan? I would love to know. I won't lie, mine is Tinkerbell. I do have a little bit of an obsession. And for those in the know, I'm gonna spill the beans if you don't, but Annie's most hated character is Tinkerbell. So we're very opposites on that. How are we best friends? Crazy. Maybe that's a thing. Opposites attract. Plus, some people, or mainly us, we believe we kind of have, for the most part, parallel lives. All right. So I'm going to put just a dab of this color under in his neck there, and then here over his hand where we already colored it. And up into that next finger. And if you make a mistake, or if you color outside the lines, just do what I do. I'm going to use my colorless blender. And I have this Uhuhu one, which has a nice fine tip, which is awesome. Yeah, Tinkerbell is definitely not so much Ian's favorite. So next up is our soft sun. So that is our E21. That's blurry. We'll keep that out of there. So E21, it's just going to gently kind of sweep around. And we're going to hit that eyebrow, come around into his ear. And I go back and forth at that ear, blend it in, more under that chin. Bring it up that right hand side a bit. And I'm kind of creating a C shape now with his skin tone in his face. And I'm going to just follow it right over to above his eye. We should have a white space like that. So next we're going to go E00. So E00 is going to define our eyes and the look of our eyes. So I just want to quick check something right here for everybody. Oh. Nope. Sorry. I'm just looking at something off screen here because, yeah. All right. So as you can tell, we have a kind of a new eye style. So for some people, these are going to be tricky in the beginning. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the white to just a little bit under the eye. We'll see if I can actually manage it tonight. And not at the bottom part of the pupil. And I will show you what I'm talking about right now. So I'm going to start right here above that eyebrow. And yeah. So I'm going to start above the eyebrow, right here in that corner. I'm going to come around, and I'm going to spin my image as I do this. So I'm going to be trying to be very, very careful here as I come around. I'm going to swing in tight under that pupil, and then come up the side because we're not going to have any white on that side. So let's see if I can lift this up to the camera. Let's see if you guys can actually see this. Sorry about that. Ooh. Will it focus? Okay, doesn't look like it's going to focus, but trust me, there's just a tiny bit of white at the very bottom here. And if you can't see it, well, maybe I'll take a picture of it after. But we're going to do the same thing on this eye. So I'm starting at the left-hand side of that pupil and coming around, and then here, I'm going to leave some white under that part of the eye, but not too much. And then I'm going to swing it up on the right-hand side of the pupil. And then with my E00, I'm going to push back into my dark. And from above where I colored, I'm going to push up into that dark space and bring down a little bit. And now I'm going to bring it right around the corner here. I am going to go back in with my E11. I'm going to put a little darker spot right in his nose, right in the tip, right there. And it's going to come right up here with that E00 again. Okay, so we kind of got that set. That kind of have that saturated now. I'm going to add this into his hand, into his neck. And I'm going to leave it that. So that only had the two colors in there under his neck because we want it kind of shadowed still. So from the E00, I am going to give him just very, very soft little cheeks. So what I'm going to do is I do that thing where I call it the whale. I won't explain why today, but like a little hump and a little tail. Kind of flicks out. But on this side, I'm going to do the same. Have a little bit of a hump and a little tail that flicks out. Like a whale breaching the water. So I have added that. So I like to put this in first before I go into my next colors because then I start to blend them out with my E000. I have a feeling I'm going to end on the 000, not go quad 0, but we will see. So with the E000, I'm going to go right above the mouth and in through that nose, and I'm going to push up and outward. I'm going to come around here over the mouth, and then we're going to go over that blushed cheek. And I'm going to go in here a little bit more just to get some blend. And I'm liking that. And do you know what? I am going to hit it with the quad 0 just a little bit, just on that left-hand side. Oh, do you know what? Yeah, and because I want this finger. Yeah, do you know what? I lied. We're going to go back in. E000 right here on his hand. On the top. There we go. Much better. So E quad 0, I'm just going to use on the left-hand side. And I'm going to pull it in from the left. Around his eye delicately and into that cheek. Just again, because I want this side to be a little bit more highlighted bright side of him. And just a little touch up there with some blending. And there we go. Our skin is done. But what is not done is his mouth. I'm going to take my E04 and supposed to go like a little, right? Oh, there's like a little tiny hair stuck to the tip of that brush, and we don't want that. Oh, Liz said, "Hi, Kevin. I ordered all of it as soon as I saw the email." Yeah, it has been selling fast all day. Okay, so I am coloring with that EO4. I put it to the top of his mouth and into the corners, and there's just that little tiny spot left there at the bottom. So that's going to be where I go back in with my R20. Bright, I think it's bright fun. You're really good. Well, thank you so much. We have a lot of amazing colors. Annie is amazing too. She just doesn't happen to have the time to color as much because we keep her quite busy. All right, so I've just finished that off with that R20 just to blend that out a little bit. And he looks super cute and happy. Now, again, I have the Ohuhu with a fine tip. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to look really closely here, and I'm going to follow that eye shape around just a little bit under the pupil, just to make sure it is kind of the white where I want it. There we go. And in the packaging, I don't know if you noticed, but I forgot to give them highlights, which is crazy. I don't know how I did that, but I didn't give them eye highlights. So that's a bad on me. It's not like a horrible thing, but I usually always give the chibis highlights, and I didn't this time. So totally crazy. All right, so our hair color. Our hair color is going to be a very interesting mix. It is going to be E37, E35, YR24, Y26, YR21, and Y21. I know, sounds a little crazy. You're going to see crazy come to life right now. So E37, that's our sepia. This is our darkest color. This is going to go, and you know what? I am not going to play around with my dark colors. It always happens. These are in a controlled environment. They have been on a plane. They have been traveling, but sometimes they drip, and I'm not taking that chance tonight on live. So both ends come off. So that sepia color is just going at the back here. And that is it. So this is shadow. That is shadow in the hair. We're starting with our darkest part, and it's not going to be up here at all. So next color is our chamois. So that's our E35. And you can see here, like, I know how they're going to blend because I already played around with them. So here we're going to just little flicks up and follow it around. And that's it for my chamois. Now we're moving on to our YR24. So a lot of times when we're coloring and we're doing our hair, we kind of bounce side to side, and we kind of put like a little dark here, and come meet in the middle, and then we get a highlight. It's a little bit different today. So this YR24 is still a little bit dark. So I'm only going to put it a little bit, starting in that bang area, but not too much anywhere else. And I usually just use the lines that Annie gives me and those points and come up and off of them. And I extend out from my previous color. So I am going to put a little bit right here as well, just because it's going to be a little bit shaded where it's closer to Nana. Next question. Wow. Why 2-6? Oh my gosh. Y26 is our next marker, and it is mustard. Wow. I hope no one heard me tonight. Sorry. Sorry, folks. If you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't, you didn't. I'm hoping you didn't. So now we're adding that Y26, that mustard color, and I'm going to just flick it across here. And we're going to add a little bit more, not into that very first one, a little bit into the bend, and we're going to put just the tiniest bit here, a little bit in there. So that is our Y26. Next, our YR21. So this is our cream. So our cream now is going to go on this side, and I'm just going to fill in just a little bit where I don't have any color, or where if I see white, and just kind of dabbing it in those spots. and they're just filling in now some of the darker areas. So I'm not really doing any flicking per se. I'm just going over and saying, okay, right now, where do I have missing color where I want a little bit of color now? And I'm not flicking because I don't want to blend away my lines. So I don't want to go over too much what I've already colored. Now I am going to follow this around now. That was our YR21. No, yes, YR21. Now we're moving to Y21, which is our buttercup yellow. So, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I use 6 markers on the hair. You don't need to. I like to play. I like color. And I'm just going to now fill in that last bit. Add a little bit where I want, just a little bit of blend. Now, two, right here at the hairline, because the hair doesn't have like a perfect line stop, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of wiggle it just a little bit. I think the song was Jiggle It just a little bit, right? Just in there, just so it kind of semi blends and melds in with that hairline a little bit into that EO4, just for a softer look. I'm just going to take a look at my color here. And there we go. Now, if you want, you can go back in and you can throw in some more of your definition line. So I might go back in now with my YR24. So this is pale sepia. This was our third darkest color. So it went like E37, E35, and now YR24. So here I'm just going to just make sure I've got the right definition, the right bit of darkness where I want it. And I think I am happy with that. Sorry, I'm going to try and keep up on the screen here. So, does anybody have any questions as I color along here today? I'm going to take a sip of my drink because I am talking a lot, and then I get like a dry voice, and then I cough, and it's all awful, and then it ruins the video because nobody wants to hear me have a coughing fit. All right, here's another reason why I picked him to color, because he's got little pajamas and they're pink and they are adorable. Adorable. I love feety pajamas, but I am too hot to wear them, as in my body temperature. Don't worry, I haven't gotten myself a big ego. But yeah, I am often really, really hot. So I could never wear anything like this. It would melt. So I'm just adding the 385. So this is our rose red, and this is going to be the darkest color of our pajamas right now. So you can see I've left some white space here and some I've kissed the line. That's what I'm calling it. So if I kiss the line, it means I'm going right on the line. If I don't, we're a little bit off. So right up in this sleeve, I want that darker. So here's the thing when I'm playing with my light sources as well. I know that I want this generally to be where my light source is coming. So it's got a little bit darker down here, a little bit darker down here. However, I'm choosing this back arm to kind of recede a little bit. It's behind it's on his right hand side, on the right hand side of his body, his face kind of behind Nana. So this one is going to stay a darker color. So I'm not going to use all the colors in here. I'm probably just going to go with 2, just so that stays nice and dark. And here, maybe I'm going to go in, and before I add my next color, I'm adding a little bit of a second coat to some of these lines. And again, if you don't know, Copic markers are I think it's semi-opaque, semi-translucent. So that means if you build up the color, they're going to get darker over time. So next I'm moving on to my RV34. So this is dark pink. So the dark pink is going to be the last color I put up in this arm right here, because that one's just going to stay dark. It's back there, stays dark. And the foot, I'm going to come up a little bit, up into this leg, because this back leg is going to be the same. Now it's going to have a little bit more light because it's a little bit more exposed. But I also, again, don't want too much color in that either. So is there anybody who has received the set and is coloring along? Are you just watching and chilling? What you doing tonight? Fill me in. All right. And we'll put a little line there and on his little belly right there. So that was our RV34, that dark pink. For my dark pink, we're going to use our R83, which is our Rose Mist. So Rose Mist is going to finish his leg here because you don't want it any kind of lighter or darker than it is. It's also going to go right at the front of his belly there. And I'm starting this as my darkest color on the sleeve. And that is because, again, more light is shining on this part. So I don't want it to be as dark as where I had it here. So same thing up here. Add a little bit of that. But I'm going to kind of keep this now and fill it in a little bit more because, again, less light hitting this spot. So I don't want to come in too much with my light colors after. I'm wanting to try and use most of my dark. And again, right here under the arm, it's going to be that color as well because it's going to be shadowed a little bit under his arm. So everything I'm doing, I'm trying to think a little bit about, okay, where is the light hitting? Where would it hit naturally? And that's how we get there. Last color, R81 Rose Pink. So our Rose Pink is going to go right here. And this is going to blend. And it's going to hit some of those little lines here. Now I'm going to fill in the back right here. I'm going to come in on the leg, under the arm, into his stomach here. And I am going to use this R81 right in the front and right up into his collar here. And we have cute little pajamas on him now. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to touch up where I want to see a little bit more color. If there's anything I'm unhappy with, I just go back in. So my R83 decided a little bit more around his butt. A little bit more shadow here. Tiny bit up into the collar area. There we go. I think it's looking pretty cute. What do you think so far? Does everybody think he's cute and adorable like I do? So I'm going to get rid of our chat from there for a second. So guess what? He is colored. How easy was that? So now we're going to color his little teddy bear next. So I'm going to be using E35. I gotta find it. So I'm going to be using E35, E33, and E31. So we're going to be using simple colors, just three. I know you're shocked. Kevin always uses way too many colors. So E35 again. So this is going to be in our darkest areas of our teddy bear. So I'm going to put darkest area is going to be this right hand foot right here. And then a little bit into this one. And I'm trying to keep, again, this dark is where we have most shadow. That whole arm, bottom, and this left arm right here. So I'm going to move him up into his little muzzle, side of his head, fill up here. Also, I want shadow, so darkest, right under his little bow. And the right ear, almost to the top, not quite. From there, E33. So that was your E35, our chamois again. Now our E33 is our sand color. And most people say they're just watching, so that's cool. It's weird because usually Steven's the one doing the lives for the releases, but Steven is so busy with work. He's not able to do it right now. So I thought, hey, I'll try. Let me have a crack at it. Let's see if they like me live. So E31 is our last color, and this is our brick beige. And again, top left here, lightest color. And I'm just going to blend that down into his face, arm, a little bit in his tummy, his leg here. So again, you can kind of see darkest parts of the teddy bear here are down to that bottom right. I'm going to fill in that little foot just a little bit more. And of course, the teddy bear has a cute little bow, and we're going to keep it simple. Well, not too simple. I'm going to color with R37, our carmine, and R24, our prawn. And same thing, I'm thinking about where is the light, where is the darkest part. So darkest part of the bow is the bottom, and it's going to be the right hand side under his chin. So that's going to get completely colored on that right hand side, just like that. And then we're going to just pop in that prawn, that R24, right on this side of the bow. Bring it over, and done. No overblending. And I know I've told this to people in classes. When you're working in a very small spot, keep your markers minimal and do less blending between them, because when you blend between them in such a small area, because of the spread of the alcohol, it's going to bleed in too much and you're going to lose your definition. So especially when people are looking at it from like a distance, they're not usually holding it like right up like that. It will just read better. So you can see even here as I kind of pull it away, you can see that light to dark there. So that's what we want. So now we're on Nana. I think we're doing good on time, folks. We're like got like 20 minutes within the hour here, and we're speeding along. So I'm pretty happy. 'Cause nobody likes a long, drawn out live, especially when it's me babbling on and on. All right, so Nana, so cute. I wish I had a nanny that was a dog. That wasn't my life though, and I was never taken to Never Never Land. So guess it is what it is, right? All right, so she is going to be E39, E37, E35, E33, and E31. So that is her fur color. So we're gonna start with her fur color, and like I said, we are going to. Whoops. We are going to. I just want to make sure where I'm putting her color in. Do you know what? I'm gonna go with her light first. So I lied. I lied. I'm going to do her face and muzzle first. So that's going to be E55, E33, E50, and E51. So I'm sorry if I have kind of misled you there. So E55, our light caramel, is going to be our first color, because what I want to do is kind of put in her lighter fur color first, just so I know where it's going to be. Here we go, a little bit in there. Now she does have a little bit light at the end of her tail too, but I'm kind of keeping it first with this darker color. Then her paws just a little bit, because I'm going to use a little bit of a different color on there, but we're going to go in there with that light. All right, so that's the E55. So next is our E53. So this is our raw silk. I'm just going to come up and over, a little bit into the paw, a little bit into the tail. And trying to keep it a little bit darker with these darker colors to that right hand side and towards the bottom where light is not hitting as much. Just doing a little test here on the side, because yeah. So E51 is my next color. And I'm just working down here because I am going to be coloring over some of that. And then, I got to find my marker. E50 is next. So E50 is our eggshell. So our eggshell is going to be that final light color. And I'm going to do this in like her little ruff here. And I'm just going to bring it down now. Blend it back down. Blend down and into her paws. And you're going to see why very soon. All right. So now we have her, what do you call that? Her rough color. Yes, her rough color. So now I'm going to work on her, I'm going to put in her paw color a little bit. So her paw color is just going to be adding to this. I'm going to add a little bit of C2. Just into the bottom. And I'm going to hit it with a little bit of C0. Bring that up and a little bit in the tail there. And now we're going to go into her face color, because again, we're going in with some light. So that I'm just going to be using my E53 and my E50. So I'm only using two colors. So here, tuning in again where I want it a little bit darker on this side. For muzzle, bottom lip. I'm gonna come around here. Then she also has some light that kind of comes around her face. And like above her, the bridge of her nose, or her muzzle. And I'm going to just kind of sweep it out here, because now these colors blend into each other. So that is like a new thing. How you blend a very light color and a very dark color right beside each other. So that's E50 now. Just going to fill that in. I'm going to take from the top of where that bonnet is. I'm going to sweep it in and sweep it out, right out to the side here. And then we're going right into the muzzle here. There we go. Okay, next up is, like I said before, E39, E37, E35, E33, and E31. We can do this. I think I'm going to back it up. So right now, this is also a very magnified image because we're like sitting right on top of it and it's kind of blown up. So E39, this is slightly scary part because we need to give Nana eyes. Those are just her pupils. So Nana needs some eyeballs. So what we're going to do is we're going to create her eyeballs. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to start with this eye first. I'm going to bring this up. Because we need to create her a bit of eye shape. Right there. And then this side, we're going to come around right up under here. And we're going to come around, sweep around, sweep around. So that eye is covered a little bit by her muzzle, but this one's going to sweep right around to this side. And now she's got sort of an eye shape there. Did I go a little over? I sure did. Am I going to use my colorless blender to push that out? I sure am. Just remember, when you make cards, only you know what's intentional and what's not. It's kind of like that, oh gosh, now I'm knocking the camera. It's kind of like that, is it, oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank? The Art of French Cooking. Why have I lost her name? Julia Child. Oh my gosh. So I don't know if it's true or not, but she dropped like a ham or a turkey and she's like, you're the only one in the kitchen, so who knows? So again, you're the only one who knows. Was it supposed to be like this or not? I don't know. You don't know. Whatever. So that's up to you. So E39, we're going to now put that. Oh, do you know what? I just forgot that we missed a paw. When I say we, I mean I missed it, not you. We're gonna. This paw is sitting right back here. Sorry. Look at me. Messing up. All right. So dark towards the bottom, in towards the shadow. This is all going to have to be blended in. And I'm going to show you how I do that. Sorry. You guys see me go off camera, just like yell at your screen. See it? I'll feel it. So a little bit up into her ears there. So that was E39. Next, we're going to E37. Hello, let's center the screen. All right, so now we are into our sepia. So this is E37. Blending. Did I totally just use a dark? Yeah. So did I do that in the wrong order? I sure did. This color's darker. See? It's not a stamp anything live unless something happens. So, note to self, E37 is darker than E39. Make that make sense to me? I don't know. That's fine, because I'd rather not have that dark color around Anna's eyes. So now we've got that E37 in here. We will go backwards with our E39. And just a little bit in there. A little in there, a little in there. Do. There we go. And hey, Val. I apologize if I missed people in the comments and didn't say hi. I do apologize. So now we're on E35, so this is our chamois. A little bit into the tail, that bottom leg there. Into here, up this side. Filling it in a little bit more here with just this color because again, I want it a little bit darker. I'm going to start to create a little bit of shadow underneath her ruff there. Here's her back. So that was E35. Now we're going to E3. No, what are we doing? Yep, E33 and E31. So E33 is going to come right up in here. I'm going to spin it around in there. We're just going to fill that in. These right now. And then I'll flick down here. Into that ear. I'm going to come up into that eye and into this side part where her fur is going to have that transition. Okay. So that was the E33. So now we're going to use our E31. Get back on the screen there, Kevin. And this is our brick beige. This brick beige is going to help us blend from that dark into that light spot right here. We're just going to rock it back and forth between there and add it into a little bit of shadow underneath her bonnet. And a little shadow right under her muzzle and face. And right into her paws, we're just going to rock in it. So now I'm going to kind of go around her eye a little bit too. We're going to soften that a little bit more. I'm going to take my E50. So my E50 is also going to help reblend some of this back. I'm going to go up out of my paws, back in, and out of where the color transitions into that lighter one. So never let anyone tell you you can't blend dark color into a light color. You completely can. And I'm going to go back. I want to have a little bit more shaggy dog look. So I'm going to come back in and I'm going to add some little details to her coat. And I'm using the chamois just to add in a few extra little lines. But with Copics, if there's a will, there's a way. So that is how you can blend a darker color into a lighter color when there is no definite line. Like, oh God, I'm so sorry. Throw this all over. I'm thinking that Nana and the Teddy and Michael are looking super duper cute. And guess what? It is time to do the bonnet. Super easy. I'm gonna do just this trim on the bonnet real quick. So it's gonna be C4. So I'm gonna have it just a little darker on this inside, just like that, because I kind of want it to read more as white. So I'm just kind of dappling that in there. Then I'm going into my C2 just a little. And I'm finishing it off with some C0. And I'm going to pull that or push that C0 back into that darker part that I colored. So as I'm finishing up here, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching my live. I know I'm not Steven. I do not have that coloring skill. Few people do. But I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. And it's going to look better when I don't have the camera like pushed in like so close. And again, like I tell people, wow, you're all going to like get seasick from my camera work here. So I apologize. So when you Copic color, try and keep your Copic perpendicular. So this is technically a little bit more how you should be coloring. However, if you can see this right now, if I were to color this way, you can't really see where I'm putting the color as much if I'm doing this. That is why I color off to the side for you guys. So when I'm on screen is when my coloring tends to not look the greatest. However, it's going to be one of those like, don't do as I do, do as I say. So I'm saying color perpendicular, have that at like a 90-degree angle. Don't have it on an angle like me. But for you guys, I want you to see where I'm putting the color. So that's why I color off on an angle like this. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with anybody who colors the proper way while they're teaching. But I'm just saying I'm adapting to you guys. So that's BG05, and the bonnet color is BG05, BG02, BG01, and BG000. It's very helpful to see what you're doing, though. Yes, I think it is. But it truly, like, when you're Copic coloring, try not to color like this because it will negatively affect your outcome. I'm sort of getting used to it, but at the same time, I really shouldn't be. It's not really the way you should be using your Copics. So do as I say, not as I do. So BG01 are aqua blue. And once I finish, you're going to see how the card colors that I did previously with that Wendy card make a little bit of sense. So it's BG01, and I'm going to just finish it with that BG000, which is going to be my most highlighted spot. It's just going to be right over here. And I'm just make sure that goes nice and light just over here on the top side. Give this a little bit of a blue cast with that zero. And I think it's time for some cute little eye highlights, don't you? Because I am kind of, I always think, I don't, it sounds wrong to say, but I think like they feel a little dead in the eyes if they don't have highlights. So I apologize if that's like improper terminology. But we want some highlights. Okay, but what I'm gonna do is we're gonna try and lift this up a little bit. I'm gonna back you guys up. Sorry again. Apologize for getting like seasick or motion sickness. I don't know. Pretend you're on like a roller coaster. All right, I'm just finding one of my Posca pens that I want to use here. Perfect. All right. We're going to give Michael and Nana little eye highlights. So this one I used 0.9-1.3. That makes sense to you for thickness. Now I'm going into a 0.7. So this is the pen type. So this is like really a much finer Posca pen. So I'm going to add just a couple little extra small highlights in there. All right. Now what I said about the color palette, and what it matches, and it would be, so this first card that I did, we're gonna back this up a little bit more. I apologize. If I could zoom, trust me, I would. Maybe one day we'll figure that out. But look at this. See how the colors, because we use that blue, it ties in, and that was my choice. I chose to make these blue. I chose this background, of course, but I chose this background because I just wanted it to kind of fit in. So there we have a quick coloring. Well, look, we're at 9 o'clock, so that's like an hour. I am like rocking it. These are my thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. And again, let's go over the new release super quick for you guys. So our new release is the You Are Such a Darling stamp set that features Peter Pan, Wendy, Tinkerbell, John, some fairy dust, a bunch of cute little sayings like just a thimble full of love, and our little Michael and Nana. And of course, we have outline dies because who wants to fussy cut or precision cut? Definitely not this guy right here. We have the Darling Bedroom Builder die, which you can do in so many ways and use for so many other projects. Because now you have something to make a mirror. And here, this little house, see, I want a little house. Oh my gosh, I have no manicure. So I found this in a cover of some 12 by 12 paper, and it was just showing kind of like what's in it, and it just perfectly fit right in there. So there's that. And then of course our London Skies stencil, which I cut out just that section and from my first one. And then here is what it looks like as well. And there is like hundreds of different ways that you can use a stencil. And you don't even need to use Peter. If you want a London scene, just use the one section and just use your Big Ben. So there is our card, our coloring. If you want to see how the bedroom builder die goes together, there is a super quick video of me doing that. It's super easy. I trust you guys, but it shows the process. And if you wanted to see how you can use your oxide inks on dark cardstock, I have a full-length video of that one. So that is a 47-minute video. I know it's super long, but if you really want to see how you can get your distress oxides to work really well on a dark cardstock, such as this navy blue or this black, you might want to watch the video and see, because there are some tips to make it come out better. And there is a couple in there. On this stencil, so this is all distress oxides. And then I used clear embossing paper, or sorry, clear embossing powder, sorry, and heated it up. I didn't need to use like embossing ink because the distress oxide holds it. And two, if you let it dry, so I let this distress oxide dry first, so that only these shapes that I put on second took the clear embossing powder. So this is not embossed right there. And I just want to give you a quick little heads up. This is some tea. I'm spilling some tea. The Festive Friends December sticker set for planners is going to be our last sticker set. I know, big news. If you're here, you're hearing it here first, but we have something super exciting coming for you in the new year. So we have not abandoned you and your planner stuff. We have it, but if you want your December sticker set, go to the website and grab it. And that is all that I have for you today, folks. I hope you enjoyed my video. Of course, there are two others on the website. I am going to be doing a Instagram live where I will be using coloring, no line coloring, and I'll be coloring Peter Pan no line coloring. And again, I just want to show you this amazing Copic coloring by Stephen of Peter Pan himself. So thank you guys so much. Have a great night. And remember to stamp it, love it. No, stamp it, color it, love it. I'll get it right. Oh, And please, please, please subscribe. It helps a lot. Give us a like. It helps a super big bunch with the algorithm. And comment. That helps us tremendously as well. We want to spread the good news about Stamp Anything and why we are loved. So please do that for us, and we will see you next time on the next video. I hope you had a good time. I know I did, and I can't wait to see all your creations.